There's one that says kill Barack Obama, Rihanna, and Kamala Harris.
Wait, what?
That was the one that I was...
What's up, guys? Welcome back to an interesting discussion. Sometimes I'm Haran. I'm back with Harsha. Only Harsha today. But nicely, we have two guests joining us. We have Kunal and Naomi. Kunal has been on this podcast before, and Naomi is his sister, elder sister. I'll let them introduce themselves to the podcast.
Yeah, my name is Kunal. I was on the podcast 70 episodes ago, something like that.
Give or take,
yeah.
A while back.
Almost over a year ago.
Yeah.
So this isn't my first rodeo. Living in New York. I was living in New York last time. Not much has changed in my life.
And new place, though. New location.
Yeah, new location. Moved to East Village. Moved out of the Columbus Circle area. I'm not a corporate hoe anymore.
Not for long.
Yeah. I brought along with my sister to the podcast.
Hi, everyone. I'm Naomi. Also Kunal's older sister. I actually recently saw Haran, so it's nice to see Haran again.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Haran otherwise in a very long time. And really excited to be on the pod today.
Yeah, I guess I didn't mention this, but I guess we mentioned it when Kunal was on this podcast a while back. But you two also have, or had, I don't know if should I say have or had your own podcast, Cutting Chai. We can talk about that.
It's unclear.
It's unclear. Yeah, we can talk more about that later in the episode. But you mentioned New York City. Both of you guys are there. Kunal, you've been there for a year and a half now?
I'm
almost 2
in
years.
In a month, it'll be 2 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's been a minute.
And Naomi, how long have you been in New York City for now?
I moved May 2021. So
okay.
A little over like a year and a couple months.
Okay. How would you guys rate your time there? Like, has it always been a blast, or like other periods where you're questioning why you're in the city?
For me, I mean, when I moved and when we recorded the first time, it was, I feel like the thick of COVID, or like a lot of the COVID procedures were still deeply rooted in the city.
It was like February 2021, March.
Yeah. So maybe it was starting to be the end.
I mean, I think everyone was getting like their first shots and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I got my shot really close to maybe a week after we did that podcast.
Yeah, you're a J&J survivor.
Yeah,
I got
Does
J&J. That even count?
I got the J&J on March 7th, 2021. And I got my next shot March 7th, 2022. So I was really, I was riding life on the edge for a while. But when I first moved, it sucked, I would say, in New York, just because there was no one here. Especially, like, I moved in October of 2020, so until around May of 2020 or March of 2021, there really weren't that many people around.
Yeah.
And so I was just working, like going to work, coming home, chilling alone, and then rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And there were a few people who would like come through, but most people were filing out of the city at that time. Yeah, Didi would come. I call my sister Didi. Let's clear that off the bat, so that nobody's confused.
Yeah, they're like with this mysterious deed that's coming along.
Yeah, I came at the end of October. I remember that one in particular. I think that was the first time I came and visited you once you had moved, but it was really funny because it was Halloween, and obviously during COVID, no one was really doing anything. But Kunal dressed up.
I dressed up in a bear onesie.
And we just went around on a Saturday.
Yeah. I only have 2 Halloween costumes. One is a hot dog and one is a bear onesie, and then they get switched around every Halloween.
You still wear the hot dog one, man? It's been like 10 years, I swear.
Yeah.
We tried to throw it out.
Somebody threw it out, and then the next day I woke up and I opened my closet, it was still there.
That's crazy.
Keeps coming back. It just appeared. No matter how much I try to get rid of it, it's always there. And then Halloween rolls around.
I don't think you've tried to get rid of
others
it.
Others tried to get
Everyone else is trying to get rid of it.
I still like it. I still like it. It's a little look.
I wore it, the first time I wore it was 8th grade, I think.
It's literally been 10 years, bro. Holy shit.
And I remember the first like freshman year of college, I went out with it on, and it came back just a totally different color.
It was not a hot dog anymore.
I was
It
like,
mincemeat.
maybe it's time to throw this thing out.
One of my suite mates, my freshman year of college, printed out a photo of Kunal in the hot dog costume and put it on my door. It just stayed up forever. And then Kunal came and he was like, "Why is my face on your door?" And I was like, I can't even get into it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so that part of, October to May was pretty dead in New York. There was really not much to do here. And I was driving
and then I came
to DC a lot. Yeah, and then everybody moved back summer of 2021. And then things started to pick up, and it was a lot more fun. I would say I'm in a point now where I don't need to be in the center of Manhattan anymore. I'm like pretty jaded from like the energy all the time.
Yeah.
But I try to leave New York once a month.
That's good. I feel that's a healthy way of coping with it.
Yeah. So, I still love it. And I can't imagine going anywhere else now, at least for a year or two.
Yeah.
But I'm over the honeymoon phase of New York, I would say. And now I'm like, I could see myself moving to Brooklyn where it's a lot quieter. And
I feel like a lot of people are mentioning that the people that have like been in New York for at least like a year or so now.
But I would need to be within 2 subway stops of Manhattan because I still want to party.
He's been saying that since he lived in Chelsea.
Oh shit! Okay.
Like when he started looking at places, he floated the idea of moving to Brooklyn, and I told him, I was like, if you move to Brooklyn, I'm not coming to hang out. But I mean, to be honest, Brooklyn, I have a lot of friends who live in Brooklyn, and it's not a bad place. There's a lot of fun things to do, but I would say that a majority of my social life is in Manhattan. So like, unless I'm going to meet particular friends for a party or like going to someone's house or like everyone in a group is in Brooklyn except for me, I'm not venturing out that much into Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I used to feel that way.
Is Brooklyn more residential in general, or like is there like stuff to do there as well?
It's kind of a mix now because like in the Greenpoint, like Flatbush area, there are like still a lot of high rises, and it's a mix of like high rises and just general like.
You could be completely self-contained.
Yeah.
You could be completely self-sufficient in Brooklyn with the social scene and the food and.
Yeah.
I guess unless you work in Manhattan, but. There's plenty to do there. It could be its own city.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
a lot of people.
That was a really fucking stupid thing to say.
Yeah, a lot of people live in Brooklyn and just don't come back.
Yeah, I'm talking about it like it's Baghdad.
Oh my god!
It's like a third world country. Like I guess it could survive by itself. I guess I don't know.
It's like it's pretty much if you're stuck there. No
if my friends are there, I'll go though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not so bad.
I think maybe I'm a little different because I always wanted to move to New York. I think I always, like, since elementary school was like, that's where I'm going. So I don't think I have the same feel. I mean, Brooklyn is still New York. I feel like all the Brooklyn people are just like stick to this entire episode. But I think also where I live is very different. So Kunal is definitely in the thick of it in East Village. I currently live in the financial district. I won't disclose where exactly I live.
Yeah, no, we don't.
I have a lot of fans who are going to listen to this episode. Don't need to disclose my exact address, but I'm definitely in a more quieter part of the city. It's just a little bit of a different life, like when I'm coming home. However, with that being said, Kunal made the comment the other day that I party a lot more right now than he does on the weekend.
That's just a fact. But
I don't know who he told.
You're in the New York honeymoon phase.
I don't even know when we were together. Yeah. But he was like, yeah, she's partying more than I do. And I was like, wow, I'll take that as a compliment.
When you first get to New York, it's like freshman year of college.
He's going to do everything.
But it's not my first year.
Everybody wants to do. Yeah, but you're coming to an end. You're migrating into sophomore year. This is when you become jaded. Junior year, you go to Brooklyn. And then senior year,
let her enjoy the moment. Why are you trying to write her experience, bro?
I feel pretty good so far, but
that's good.
Yeah, you never know. The winter, I think last year in January and February before we went to the wedding in Cancun, things were looking a little tough because it was getting really cold. At the time, we weren't working in person too, so you're just spending like 5 days of your working day of your working week at home.
Yeah.
Then there was not much you could do because you were worried about getting COVID. But I did go to my first Knicks game last January.
Oh shit! How was that?
It was amazing. So Kunal knows full disclosure, I was never really into basketball. And then The Last Dance came out, and then I got really, really into it. I would like watch it with Kunal during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And then the opportunity came, and I was like, I have to go to a Knicks game. I have to cross this off my list. So my friend and I went to Madison Square Garden. We had okay seats, but it was fine.
I feel like the atmosphere there is like fine no matter where you are at.
It was unreal.
Yeah.
And the best part was it was a fully stacked, like everyone was on the sidelines that game. It was Brian Cox from Succession.
Oh, shit.
You had Pete Davidson, who my mom referred to as the Kardashian guy. Rip Kim and Pete. You had, oh my God, I can't remember his name now. Jacob Elordi from Euphoria, who plays Nate on Euphoria. So basically like anyone who was like a hot actor at the time, who was like on a show that everyone was watching because it was cold. They were at that game. So it was great.
That's hype.
Offset was also there.
So you didn't watch the game.
So
People watch it.
yeah. I just remember the next one and then I went home.
That's good. We didn't win. They don't know that we, but they didn't win that many games last season. So
Yeah. So the one game that I saw,
good.
they won.
I have yet to go to a Knicks game.
that's
been
kind
to
of crazy,
MSG.
actually. But you've been to a Brooklyn game, though.
I went to a Nets game.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Which
You went to one of the
was-
craziest games last year.
You went to the
But I was
playoff
just-
game, right?
No, you went to the
No.
Mavs
Oh.
Nets game, the one Dinwiddie hits that
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
winner.
Oh,
It was a really random game to go to. But we saw that it was Mavs Nets and we were like, I'd be down
Two
to see
competing
Doncic.
teams, yeah.
Yeah. And like it was still when they both had playoff contention. So
Yeah.
I was like, this is
That
a
game was
this is a
actually
good enough
crazy. I
matchup.
only caught the fourth
Yeah.
quarter, but that game was nuts.
And yeah, we like got the tickets on Game Time or whatever that app is.
That's how I got my tickets too.
Yeah.
Sad.
Uh-oh. We should we get sponsored
Yeah,
before
sure.
we
Talk anymore.
Hashtag spawn.
Yeah, but I went to MSG for Tyler the Creator though, that same week that I went to the Nets game. And that was crazy. MSG is just a crazy place to go to.
That was Kunal's Nothing Matters week.
Nothing matters.
I went to Baby Keem on Sunday and Tyler the Creator on Monday, and then the Nets
Wait,
game
that was
on
the same
Wednesday.
week?
Yeah, it was all the same week.
Yeah.
And then,
I was also at that Baby Keem concert. Narrowly
Oh, yeah,
escaped the mosh.
Yeah, I heard you almost died. That's what Kunal was saying. It.
Just
I
Kunal.
mean, yeah.
You can tell the story.
Basically, what happened was, I mean, we should have done this, and this isn't like some crazy experience, but we are like 24 and 27, and we walked into this Baby Keem concert with my roommate.
At the time, I was a baby 26.
Yeah, I
important.
guess
important
at the time I was 23. But like everybody who walked in was like a Caucasian 17-year-old high school kid who was just like obviously there to mosh.
Yeah.
Like we were there just to like enjoy the music, I guess, like be there for Baby Keem. But like we walked in and obviously
Love that man.
the t-shirts say like
I moshed.
I
at Keem.
moshed at Keem. All the t-shirts said that, and we're like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, it's so fun. Then we go to get our drinks.
Yeah, then we got
Get
our
in the
drinks.
middle.
We like got Red Bull vodkas each like $45.
Oh, yes.
Plastic cup. And then we like got to the center, and then the song Trademark USA, like the guy starts talking in the beginning before the beat drops.
Well, this was when this was his intro.
First,
You have to
Yeah, this is
explain
like
that.
the opening. He hasn't,
Yeah.
this was him coming onto
That's
the
the opening to
stage.
his album, too, I think.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
didn't
crazy
know.
opening
Yeah,
song.
So Trademark USA starts playing, and then all these like kids around us put on different colored neon ski masks. I looked at my sister and I was like, "We need to get you out of here."
I'm in a massive
Immediately.
black puffer, like down to my feet.
Oh, my God.
And for reference, I'm like 5'2". So I literally look just like a tiny Eskimo standing there. And so Kunal literally grabbed me and is jumping as we're
Yeah.
and he's like, jump. And I'm like,
Dude, that's my thing with like concerts, like in like when it's like cold outside, like it just sucks because like you're just inside and it's like super hot because like you're next to
yeah,
all these
like
people,
obviously
like,
you're not gonna take your. I mean, I'm personally like not gonna take my coat off. Like I'm just gonna stand there and like wait it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, my $45 vodka Red Bull was making out with the floor because it immediately left my hand as I started jumping. And then we got out. Though. And Kunal was like, what a rush. And then he's like, I was like, what about your friend who was still in there? He's like, he'll be fine.
Oh shit!
But we saw what was happening.
I knew he would be fine.
We saw what was happening from the outside, and I was like trying to vibe. I was like, oh, I waited so long to hear this album, but I was also like terrified. I was like, oh, this is not what I.
That'd be hilarious if you looked at like everyone put their mask on. You looked over to your friend. He had his mask on too with the shirt, like fully equipped for that shit.
He should have. He was in there the entire time. I was
he came out completely soaked in sweat.
I just knew that was gonna happen, and I was like, I should have thought about. I should have thought this plan completely through. But it's still.
I don't remember what the last song was, but we were standing kind of at the edge of the crowd, and there's 2 floors in Terminal 5, and Kunal gets this wild video of like all of this, like fire and stuff on stage, and this guy is jumping from the second balcony into the crowd.
Oh shit!
And it's one of the best videos.
The song is Family.
Oh, okay. It's probably the most famous. The most famous.
I was trying to remember what song
it was.
Dude, imagine you brought Kendrick out, bro. Holy shit, the place would have.
You guys would have died.
Yeah.
I would have been run over. That would have been the end. But it's not a bad way to go.
Yeah, I thought a bad way to go. That's true.
Yeah.
Bury me in my Mosh Keen
Yeah, we should have bought those. Looking back, but they would have been like $100.
Comes with free vodka though, maybe.
Yeah, a couple to 2 vodka Red Bulls.
I was trying to think what's like the best concert merch I bought. I would say my most valued at one point was I went to a concert that was sponsored by Rock Band back in the day, the video game.
Shit, yeah.
It was Panic at the Disco, The Cab, Plain White Tees, and Dashboard Confessional.
Wait, that's a lot of bands down.
It was a fire lineup.
Yeah.
And they had the shirt, it just had like Rock Band on the front with this girl playing the guitar, and then on the back it had all the dates. But I remember I would wear that shirt all the time. And one time we had a Diwali party and whatever, we were dressed up. And then as soon as all the extra people left and it was main squad, at home we're like playing Monopoly, I like changed out of it. I'm like wearing the shirt. And my mom's like, that's the ugliest shirt. Can you change that? No.
I remember that shirt. And that is a pretty fire lineup. It's a classic middle school, like
punk rock.
Punk rock lineup.
Yeah. I think mine's probably I got the Coldplay Parachute shirt when we went to the Coldplay concert.
That was with us, right?
Yeah, like 2016 now, yeah.
Nice.
So, great shirt.
I still wear that shirt a lot.
I never buy concert merch, but I should start doing it.
Yeah. I wasn't going to because like, it's expensive, but like that one was like my first. I think that was like my first ever concert. It was Coldplay. I was like, I had to.
That was a fire concert also.
Yeah. At the Eagles Stadium.
Yeah.
Well, this is not from a concert, but Haran, you got that Savage Mode t-shirt now. What about, does that rank up there too?
Oh, that's up there. Yeah, actually, I have quite a few.
Savage Mode.
It was October 2020. I was just bored, and then 21 and Metro Boomin dropped Savage Mode 2, and I was like, this album slaps. And then me and Christian were on a call, and he like linked me. He was like, yo, 21 just dropped like merch, you want to cop? And I was like, fuck it, I guess. Like, I'm not spending any money anyway. So he got
classic COVID cop.
Yeah, classic COVID cop. He got the white shirt, I got the black shirt. So yeah, I think I don't know if we ever worn it together, but we should. We definitely should get a photo with it.
Yeah, you definitely should. You got to go to a concert and wear it together.
Yeah, I want to go to 21. I feel like I've seen 21 perform live. It's not as lit as like the album recordings are, but
I'll provide you some ski masks. And then you guys.
I'm plot twist. Kunal gave it to everyone around to get me out of the
ski mask. I'm the ski mask. I'm the ski mask distributor of the Northeast.
But you're talking. I was just intrigued, but like you guys are talking about well, they were talking about like how like you're like working from home for a long time and like it's kind of boring. Like, how is it like working in the city, like commuting and like just like walking around? Like, do you enjoy that aspect of it, or would you rather just be working?
So I think I have the shortest commute of any New York person. I think it's less than 5 minutes. It did
Oh,
happen
shit.
by chance. So when I actually moved before I had a job in hand, which was definitely a bit risky, but I'm really glad that many people encouraged me to do it, including Kunal. But at the time, so many companies were remote, so there was not really any question of like whether. I mean, I think in the thick of COVID, no one really thought that we were ever going back to work. A lot of us thought we were just like remote is now going to be the new way of work, and it's going to be optional if you want to go in. Like they're definitely not going to mandate going back in person. So for this particular place that I ended up choosing this offer, I didn't even ask like where their office was. I was like, if it gets to that point, eventually I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And then when I got the final offer, I thought, if we ever do go back to office, I should check where this is. And I looked it up, and it ended up being extremely close. And at first I was like, is this the move? And then when I realized that out of, all the places that I had applied, that this was the place that I really enjoyed, like my entire interview process and felt like it was going to be a good fit, I thought, it's going to be fine as long as I don't play hooky very close to work. It'll be fine. But I mean, I definitely think that it has its, there are good points and bad. I think, as a lot of people felt during COVID, like there was no separation of work at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people use their commute time to de-stress and just like get into the, feeling of being relaxed and getting into kind of their home mode. And for me, like, I have a very short walk, so I don't really feel that. Like, I feel like I get home and I'm still like, oh, is work over?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think not having that long of a commute allowed me to really keep a lot of the parts of my current morning routine that I started during COVID, like being able to work out really early in the morning and like doing all the other stuff I want to do in the morning, which I think if I had a longer commute, those would have definitely been the first things to go. And
Yeah.
I would have had to figure out how to re-navigate all that.
True.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been working much recently, so I don't have much to say, but I would say that I prefer going in to working from home. But that's because like I'm like don't trust I can work from home like 1 or 2 days a week.
Yeah.
But I feel like working from home the entire week is really hard. And also like having a good relationship with your team, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're on a small team, like just seeing them every day helps.
Yeah.
I mean, I can work from home, but I just feel like I'm a better employee and like more efficient at work. And then like I don't have stuff to do late into the night because I just did it all when I was in the office.
Yeah.
Versus if I'm working from home, I'll just be like, oh, I have the entire day to do it.
Yeah, I can like
Because,
split
like,
up my time. Yeah.
I'm at home, so like I'll just do it whenever.
Yeah.
You also feel very siloed working remotely. Like, I think if you're not I think it was really crazy in the beginning when people were, especially like in finance, Goldman was like, everyone back to work June 1st, 2021. And we were all freaking out. We're like, this is going to be the reality for everyone else. But I think now that I work, 2 to 3 times in person a week, I love it. But then by Wednesday, I'm like ready to come back and like work at home. But at least like you have all these, organic conversations with your friends at work. And I'm friends with a lot of people who I don't work with directly. So when I'm at home, like we're not really talking that much unless, we're having our one-off Slack conversations
Right.
or stuff like on social media. So if we didn't have that in-person time, I feel like my immediate like interaction socially would be very limited in terms of work.
Yeah.
Wait, Harsha, are you working completely from home? Or
Yeah.
is your team in New York?
Yeah, the office is in New York, but my team is all over the place. Like, we have people in London, Argentina, California, North Carolina. No one actually is in New York. No one goes to the office. No one's in New York.
Wait, literally no
Oh,
one's in
okay.
New York?
On my team, no one's in New York. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense then.
Yeah.
I feel like
So
if
it's
your team is spread everywhere, then you have to kind of be remote.
Yeah, everyone like kind of just conforms to East Coast time, so it kind of works out for me.
Oh, yeah.
But
I saw that companies are planning on hiring teams based on time zone now instead of like physical office locations.
yeah, I don't think it's too bad. There's like some overlap, especially for like CS jobs. Like you don't really need to have like the 8-hour overlap to like talk to people.
Yeah.
A couple hours is usually fine. But yeah, I guess I have a completely different experience than the two of you in terms of working. Like I've always worked remote from my house. Like I haven't left. So
Yeah.
you're talking about how like your short commute kind of like makes your, or like a longer commute would make your like wake up in the morning to go to the gym and stuff go away. Yeah, my commute's super short. Like it's from my bed to here, and I still don't go to the gym in the morning.
Hey, you still go to the gym though.
Yeah. I go to the gym during work. So it just works out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was like also the fun thing about remote is like not everyone is a morning person or even like can work out at night, and people being able to work out during the day. Like a lot of my coworkers do that on our days when we can be remote. They like work out at noon or something. And it's also nice out. It's like sunny before it's going to get really cold. So like being able to take the opportunity to go on a walk or just get some fresh air is nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like for us, it's like we have like quarterly or like half year like on sites where we all meet each other for like a week. So it was in New York last time, and then in February it's in Miami. So like those are like cool things that we do, and I don't really mind not going to the office just because I just like the flexibility and sleeping in, and I don't really want to talk to them. I guess it's different for me because I'm at home. Like all my friends are here. Like I don't need to make more friends right now.
Yeah.
So that's but I know Haran wants to go to the office too, right?
Eventually. I do. I feel like I started working like 2 weeks ago, and it's just training stuff right now. So like nothing too interesting, but especially like if I'm going to be moving out there, I definitely want to go to the office so I can like at least meet people because I don't know anyone in the area. So I got to start somewhere.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You should definitely.
And I also feel like I'll be more efficient and like better at my job if I just go into the office than if I'm at home. But
So did you end up finding a place?
I found like spots, but I haven't actually signed anything. I'm still I need to talk to my manager to see when I have to move out, and then we can go from there. Right. But I'm also trying to find a roommate, which is probably the harder part of the two things.
Dude, you could have taken that girl's sublet.
I know, but she was so far, man.
Yeah. I showed her on. One of my friends was like, I have a place in LA of all of October. And I was like, I know of one person who only needs the apartment in October. So this is perfect. Haran was like, this location is bad. I was like, fuck.
No, like, it's a good location if like you want to live in LA. It's just that I'm like more in Orange County, so I'm like outside of the main city, which is unfortunate. But
I'll keep my eyes peeled. I have a lot of friends out there too.
Oh, really? Okay. Speaking of the city, one more question I wanted to ask you guys. You guys are both siblings. Like, how's living in the city with your sibling? Is there this might be a toxic question, but I was just thinking, is there like an obligation for you to like spend time with them like on a week-to-week basis, or like?
I don't think it's an obligation. I think we do it when we can.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was chatter early days of us living together. That would have been a bad idea, I think.
The classic line that I reiterate to anyone who asks why we don't live together is Kunal said, he doesn't want to know what I'm doing and I don't need to know what he's doing. And that's how we like it.
Yeah, exactly that.
But with that being said, for the most part, I would say we like talk at least most of the time once a day. We probably see each other like a handful of times within a month.
Okay.
As long as like we're not traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also helps that we have some like family friends in the area, so then like we'll definitely see each other through that, or we'll grab a meal, or like I'll drop off an appliance or something.
Yeah. It's probably also easier on your parents that both of you are in the same city, so if they ever come visit, like it's just one city they have to go to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. When they come up, they see the both of us, and then that kind of thing, but they don't come up.
I mean, usually they're coming up because something happened, aka Kunal broke his shoulder.
Oh, that's a crazy transition. That's like, actually on our list of topics.
I don't think they really just came up for fun, but our parents are very vivacious like that. They're like, he wants to come tomorrow, we can make it, and we're like, that's an 8-hour round trip drive.
They literally called me today and said, should we come up this weekend? I was like,
They're living a fresh and young life. They're like, oh, you need us? Oh, you don't? Okay, we'll come. But it's fun. I like doing New York with them because I feel like I used to come visit a lot when I was in college, especially my senior year, because, I mean, this is not news to anyone I lived with, but I didn't really like my living situation my senior year. And my best friend lived in New York and was doing her MPH at NYU, so I would come visit a lot. And I feel like there were all these things I would see for the first time, and I was like, oh, I wish like my family was here to see this and we were doing this together. So I think it is really exciting, like when Kunal and I have done stuff in the city, and then our parents come up and we're like, oh, we have to take you to this one restaurant.
Yeah.
We want to show you, this one area we think you'll really like. And then they also, are now living their empty nest life. So they're also, I think, a lot more relaxed than when we were in school.
Mhm.
So they also are like a lot more relaxed when they come to visit too.
That's nice, yeah.
Haran, did you have an obligation to hang out with Sajani in Blacksburg?
We actually
Ooh.
didn't like hang out that much, but I think that's mainly because she was, well, I guess I was busy too, but she was super busy because like she was doing pre-med and then she was like in like so many different like societies outside of that and like newspaper stuff. And she like, I feel like she didn't have that much free time at all.
Didn't you
I'm
guys get like
Saj.
breakfast?
Oh, I heard about that.
We did.
I feel like that was maybe like a
maybe like a
beginning
one-time thing.
Yeah, maybe like a one-time thing. No, I mean, like we honestly,
was a
I think our
manifestation.
most interactions happen at the library, so that really speaks to our relationship. But to be
That's
fair,
so
Tech literally only had like one main library, so like anyone, like literally everyone would be there at some point, like during the semester. So I would see her a lot there. But we also literally lived like a building away from each other too. Like she was right next to me, like literally
nice.
like a 30-second walk. So, but yeah, I guess I feel like you two are tighter than me and Sajani, but like it's so like I guess yeah, we don't like we would like keep in touch, but we wouldn't really like make plans to see each other, kind of thing.
I mean, we've been through phases. Like she hated me the entire time she was at home, and then
Yeah.
she left for
let
college.
that be like explained. That was like elementary school.
No, yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. When you were in
Oh, I thought you
elementary-
meant like COVID, like most recently.
Yeah,
Elementary-
like a couple years ago.
Oh no! I mean like through high school, maybe senior of high school.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
started
Knowles is a real
to-
prick in middle school.
No,
so that
I
makes
don't.
sense.
I think it was when we moved into our.
It has nothing to do with her. It has everything to do with
I think
you.
it was when we moved into our current house. So like when you were in 8th grade, we became. I remember when he was like officially my height or a little taller, then we started talking.
No, we were talking before. I was just getting yelled at a lot.
Oh shit.
I'll tell you why I didn't like basketball, because my mom's way of like getting
Basketball?
us to bond. Yeah. My mom's way of getting us to bond was like throwing us outside our Falls Church house and being like, go play basketball. And Kanal would be like, so what's going on? And I'm like, you're literally 5. Leave me alone. Kanal was like always trying to therapize me on the asphalt. He's like, so what did you do today? And I was like, leave me alone.
I was always trying to.
In an extremely high voice.
Yeah. I was always trying to chat, and she would be like, "Can you just shut the fuck up for like 5 seconds?"
And then she put on her headphones and she listened to some
And now I'm
Panic at
like,
the
hello,
Disco.
are you alive?
Yeah, exactly.
Literally this weekend on Saturday, I was like, can you send me a sign you're alive? And he was like, yo, it's good. I was like, good night. Have a good day.
I feel like me and Sajani were the exact opposite. Like we were super tight growing up, and then as soon as we moved to this new house, because we used to live in the same room, or like stay in the same room. And then as soon as we moved to the new house, we both got our separate rooms. That's when our relationship changed.
And
Where
that was
we
the
kind of just
end.
like I mean, like we'll still talk, but like,
I feel
it
like
was
you
a lot
guys are
different.
still pretty close.
No, we are, but I feel like I don't talk. I was actually like she's probably like my best friend growing up, just because like we spent so much time. No, because like we would like I'd come from home and we would just be like playing like Legos or like Mario Kart or whatever, like just doing random
I feel
shit.
like that was like me and Kunal my senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Like we would just go. I remember, I think my freshman year of college, one weekend I came home and he like came into my room to sleep and he was like sleeping in a sleeping bag on the ground. And then he's like, we were like vibing and talking and he's like, anyways, the Wi-Fi in your room is pretty shitty, so good night.
Oh, yeah.
And he got up and left. I was like, so much for a bonding experience. But we had like talked for like a couple hours and then he's like, this is not working.
I mean, Wi-Fi is not a want anymore; it's a necessity for every country. So, that's all I have to say
including
about that.
Brooklyn, yeah.
No, but I think that when you went to college, we started talking more, and then when I went to college, we started talking less again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I fell off the face of the earth for 4 years.
Yeah, he really did.
And then I returned home for COVID, and I was like, "What did I miss?"
And he was like, wow, so much has changed. And I was like, welcome.
Yeah.
But we had our fun during COVID.
Yeah. Would you say you guys have gotten tighter in like the last year that you both have been in New York?
I think we got
feel like-
tighter when I came back for COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like since then things were kind of the same.
Yeah, things that I wouldn't say
Consistent.
since. Yeah, we almost talk less now than we did during that. Obviously. 'Cause
Yeah,
we
I
were
mean, like
living
you're literally
together
in the
during
same
that whole
house. Yeah.
thing. But we were talking a lot before, when she was trying to move to New York and I was already here. We were definitely talking a lot, like trying to figure out where she would move
scheming.
and stuff like that. Yeah, now that we're both settled, I guess we talk a lot. I mean, we talk. I don't know, a normal amount.
Yeah.
I don't think about it anymore. But I definitely used to think about it in college. I'd be like, wow, we don't talk. We haven't talked in a while.
Yeah, but I think we were also like pretty busy, especially towards the end of your college when I was finishing grad school.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you have your younger brother? How has that relationship evolved over time?
How old is your brother?
He's
Yeah,
a
what's that?
he's a sophomore in college, so like 4 years ish. Yeah, 4 or 5 years difference. So it's like pretty big. So I wouldn't say we're like as close as we could have been if he was like maybe only a couple years younger than me. It's been fine. I think we talk a little bit more now that he's in college, just because it's not even. I don't think we talk. He just asked me more questions. I think
I love
about
that.
like he, instead of asking my parents, which is something that I would have to do, like he would just like ask me if he has any like problems. So it's in a way that's good.
Do you ever open up to him though? Is it like a one-way relationship?
No, I don't tell him my problems.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I was like that for a really long time. It took me, I would say like probably COVID for me to be like completely transparent with Kunal, because I think there's a part of you as an older sibling who's like, oh, like they are not going to be able to handle like what you tell them. And I think it's also another aspect that you don't want to worry them. Because I think there's also this notion like, oh, I have to have everything together or they're not going to come to me with their issues.
Yeah, and it's like, or if I ask them a question, like, what are they gonna know? Like, I know more than them. Like, I don't need to tell them, you know. Like, it's kind of like that.
The TLDR.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, like, I think after a month or so, when I started dating Amrita, like, I told my brother, I was like, yeah, I have a girlfriend now. I texted him. He was like, oh, okay. He didn't even ask. I just wanted to see if he would ask me like who. But I just
he didn't ask who.
He's like, okay.
He was like, cool, proud of you.
And I was like, yeah. I don't need to talk to him about this like that. But yeah, I mean,
Kunal's
hopefully when
really
he
funny in that way.
Yeah.
Kunal will be like, I don't want to know anything. And he's like, so how's your dating life?
No, I don't want to know. I mean, yeah, I don't want to know anything. I don't want to know details. I want to know high level what's going on.
Yeah, he's like, give me the highlights of the month. And I'm like, well, one time we were at his apartment in Chelsea, and I remember his friend was there, and I told him something, and he's like, I don't want to know. And he's like, wait, so did you go? And his friend's like, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
We either ask for all the information.
No, I don't. I like to not know. I don't want to know.
Fair.
Speaking of dating stuff, and you
Now
guys
I know.
talking about it, you guys talk about that on your podcast, Cutting Chai. We'll plug it again.
We do.
So when did you guys start that podcast? It was like about 2 years ago now.
We started, I think, April or May 2020.
Okay, so pretty much
It was
that was
definitely
ours.
after school.
Yeah.
I mean, it was after I
Probably May.
graduated.
Yeah,
So I think it was June.
So like around
I don't
when
know.
you
It
pretty
was,
much when
it
you
was
got your dog.
definitely COVID, definitely 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably a month or two before we got Zuko
Okay.
is when we had started that.
Zuko's our dog, by the way.
Yeah. No, I said before you got your dog, but yeah, just to reiterate.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, what do you guys talk about on that podcast, just so people listening will know?
So the whole format of our podcast is we used to cook. We would prepare a particular dish, and then we would answer questions from our audience. So a lot of the questions had to do with dating, or just general relationships. We had a lot of navigating friendships, navigating college, the job search during COVID. A lot of people were feeling very nervous about being unemployed at the time, and just other general life advice.
Nice.
And then aunties saying, you're not even 30. Why are you giving people advice?
No, I thought she was like, oh, you guys haven't been in a relationship.
Yeah, they were like, you're
Why
not even
are-
married. You're not even married.
she
Why are you
was
giving
like,
dating advice? I was
Why are you
like,
giving
that's
dating
actually
advice? And I was like,
that's a
"Auntie,
great
don't
point."
worry
That's a great. And that's why it's
But she
been a
listens
1 year hiatus on the podcast. Really got
I
to
was
you
like,
guys.
you're still listening though.
Actually, a question that Tarun, who's on the podcast today, sadly, but he came up with was: did you guys ever get like a viewer scenario that was too crazy to share on your podcast?
Oh, we
There
got
were
quite
definitely
a few.
so basically our Excel, if you look at our like the responses Google sheets that we
Mhm.
had for all of the different questions that people had submitted, we would mark them as green if we definitely wanted to answer them, yellow if we weren't sure about it, and like basically red if we couldn't say it on the podcast. And there were definitely a ton. First of all, there was a ton of just like nonsense that people would write in.
Yeah.
But then there were definitely some questions that were like either like controversial or just like too graphic.
Too graphic.
Oh my god.
It's just like obscene things like to be said and like discussed on a podcast where we knew that aunties were listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a little bit of an older listenership as well.
Mm.
So we had to be careful and like keep it a little PG-13. Because a
Yeah,
lot of our
that's-
friends during COVID, they were at home with their parents, so their entire families would listen to an episode together.
I think I actually
So
played
you-
one out for my family to listen to during COVID.
Yeah.
so,
And I had to like
Point
carefully bleep everything that I was saying. Like all the curse words that I was saying had to be bleeped. And then inevitably I would miss one while listening back, and somebody would message me and be like, "We heard you curse." And I was like,
So what the fuck is this, fourth grade?
I was like, you've heard me in real life, so this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody.
Fair.
It's like an Easter egg.
Well, I mean, so this podcast, we don't care about what we say, and if you guys feel comfortable, you could share
I got
one
the
of those.
vibes.
You
Yeah.
can share if you want, if you remember any of them that stood out.
I feel like I
I
have to
should have
bring...
looked. Yeah, I should have
Yeah,
looked
I
it
was
up.
like, I have to bring up the...
I probably
sheet.
should have just told you guys to prepare this beforehand.
But
I
I
don't
mean,
even know where
the
sheet
thing
is.
was, a lot of the times we were posting we would post the sheet on our Instagram. So I think that was also the other thing, is a lot of our friends were sending in
Mm-hmm.
stuff just to mess with us in all transparency.
Yeah, I have to think of some of the questions that we actually. There were some questions that we answered that were crazy in themselves, but I don't remember.
There
any of
was,
them
I
now.
remember in the last episode, there was one about a guy who thought that a girl was trying to manifest him. And that one was really funny. So essentially, this person wrote that this girl really believed in manifesting. And he's like, I feel myself being manifested. What do I do?
What is that?
What does that even mean?
We were like, do you need like an exorcism? Like, what's going on? That one was pretty funny.
He was, yeah. I mean, he was like, I feel like clearly overthinking it.
What do you
Like,
think
he
he
was
was
like-
being made?
No, he was just like, I like her. She clearly has a voodoo doll of me in her room.
Oh, yeah. I remember this.
No, or you just like her. Like, maybe it has nothing to do with anything else, and you're just making up excuses.
Yeah.
I actually should go back and listen to what I said that time.
I brought
it's
up the
consistent.
sheet, but I'm trying to think like also what I like want to share.
I can't believe you found it.
I'm trying to think about like which one's the
Hold up.
most.
While she's deciding, we're going to take a real quick ad break. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're back. Kunal and Naomi have come up with some that they will share, or found one at least that they will share.
I mean, there's a bunch on me at that.
Okay, Kunal, you pick one, and then I'll pick one to share.
One of them. Well, this one we could have said on. I'm gonna pick a couple. There's one that
He's
there's
just
one
going
that
all
says,
in.
There's one that says Mary fuck kill Barack Obama, Rihanna, and Kamala Harris.
Wait, what?
That was the one that I was gonna choose.
Which is like that's why we could have answered it. It's like,
Iconic. Great
but it's like what's going on here? Another one is what are your spiritual views on sex? It's like
That was the other one.
Wait, spiritual views on sex?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I don't know. There was like things that I would have answered if there's just a lot of sexual questions
Yeah.
that I would have answered if I knew exactly what the demo was.
Yeah. No, that
And,
makes
like,
sense.
That, I don't know. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is foreplay? Is another question. It's like, am I really going to answer that? And then,
I honestly have a feeling because whoever it was sent them in quick succession. I think I know who. I think it was someone I knew.
and then it's like that auntie's going to be like, oh, so you have a lot of experience in foreplay. That's why you're answering this question. And then suddenly
you
you're
are
at the
not
Diwali.
serious.
You're like at a Diwali party with a plate of butter chicken, getting roasted about the podcast that you're talking
They're like
about.
cutting
It's
ties.
like,
Episode 9.
yeah, where you only answer like sexual questions. They're like, shame on your family kind of thing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's so wild that you received the question.
There was one that said, how is it possible that girls can tell different shades of nude lipstick but not see the red flags in a boy? Are we colorblind? And then we also would
that's pretty good.
ask.
That's a very good.
That's a good question. Yeah.
We would also ask for recipe suggestions, and this person was like, chili dog. That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
I feel like that's a pretty good. That would be a banging tweet. I feel like that would definitely pop off. You should tweet that. I can't do it, but I'm saying a girl could do it.
I believe in you.
No, I'm alright. Oh, another question that Trun came up with. You had just come up with a lot of questions yesterday when we were brainstorming.
He has so many
Was-
questions.
What's the worst dating advice you've received, and what's the best advice you've given? You can answer one of those questions or both. I don't know if you. I feel like the best advice you've given is kind of like pompous that you're saying like you're back.
Like, what's the worst advice you've given? How about that?
Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah,
We've
Worst
given or
advice.
received?
or
Alright,
it could be either received or given.
You can answer any of those questions.
Yeah.
Just a plethora of
Just a
questions.
question.
Oh, that's good.
I think worst advice received is probably the best place to start.
Yeah.
Oh,
At the
man.
time, I thought it was the worst advice received, but now I'm looking back and I think I just misinterpreted it. But I was dating someone my sophomore year of college, and I told my mom, and my mom is
Poor
said-
choice.
Poor choice.
No, I'm just kidding.
Says the person who told mom all the time.
Yeah.
You speaking from
It's true.
experience, clearly.
But she was like, dating is not casual. And at the time I was like, dating is casual. That's the whole point of like
Yeah.
trying to get to know someone. But when I look back, I think she really meant like date with intention, which is
Hmm.
valid advice. But I think the way that she worded it, I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But now when I look back, I was like, she's not wrong.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what.
Kunal gets all his
Good-
dating
good-
advice from
good.
me. So
No, no, I don't. I feel like good dating advice is when you're going to break up, just like rip off the band-aid, cut it off, and don't talk to them. I think that's unbelievable advice.
I feel
Like-
like I gave you that advice.
I think that everybody gives everybody that advice, but nobody, like half the people don't follow it.
Yeah, it's like I think it's
"Oh,
easy to say and then not to
Yeah.
Yeah,
actually
it's like, oh, I want to linger on and I want to be friends and I want to chat and I want to do
I
this
wanna
and that. It's like, or not, or maybe that's a bad idea. I think that's good dating advice. I'm trying to think of what bad dating advice I've gotten. I've definitely given out bad dating advice.
Have you ever intentionally tried to sabotage one of your friends' relationships?
No, I haven't done that.
Haram was trying to do that in middle school.
Yeah, I should have
Yeah.
done that in middle school, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I often think about that story that you told because I didn't know about it until like 4 or 5 years later, and I was like, I'm such a slut. This guy Haran at 8th grade was watching me kiss another person. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I wasn't like intently watching. I was
Yeah, Haram
told,
wished
I
it
was
was
told.
her.
I wish I,
I
was
know.
her, yeah.
Yeah.
Originally I thought I wish I was him, but then over time I realized I wish I was her.
Wait.
Things have changed, yeah. He's matured.
I'm matured, yeah.
One of the advice that I keep seeing that's like circulating social media, I feel like that started during COVID, is the whole like, if he could, he would, which I don't think is true. Like the whole idea
What?
of like, oh, if someone like, or sorry, if he wanted to, he would.
Like what?
Like that
What's
whole,
Yeah, wait, what?
like a lot of that dating advice is going around like, oh, like if someone hasn't done something by now, then they like don't like you.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You don't think that's true? Or you do think
I
that's
don't think that's true because I think it's a lot more complicated than that, and like people have a lot going on in their life.
Yeah.
But I do think you also have to like kind of do opportunity costs and like weigh your pros and cons and recognize that like if someone really wanted to do something, they probably would be putting in some type of effort. But there could be things that are preventing them from putting in like all of their effort to try to like.
I think it's true. I think that advice is true later, like the more you get into the relationship. Like early days, I don't think that's necessarily as true. But like if you know the person well enough, you're like 5 to 10 dates in or like many months into the relationship, then I think that's true.
Yeah. I would agree, yeah.
Those are my thoughts. Maybe we still got it.
It's cutting. We still got it. Yeah.
That's a good question. Are you guys? I mean, you guys aren't that far from each other. Like, I feel like, I mean, I guess you could also just record over Zoom or whatever. So, do you guys ever see yourself returning to the podcast?
We've definitely discussed it.
We did 10 eps. We did a mini series. I
think
you
completed the first season. That's good.
Yeah, it's true. Like, we could easily start and just do another 10 apps. I think I got a little bit worried about recording my voice, like the same thing that we've been talking about, like recording my voice about like controversial opinions and putting it online. I feel like it's kind of a scary thing to do, especially about like dating and relationships and everything like that.
Yeah.
So that is one aspect of it. And then I think also we weren't doing, it was like an easy thing to do during COVID. It was like a COVID project and we had good momentum, but then we were like moving in between and I was like, I moved from Virginia to Chicago to New York, and we tried to like keep it going through that. Then my sister was moving to New York, so I feel like we kind of fell off momentum-wise. But I think we had some decent core listeners who were listening every week for sure, and who would. Like,
I mean, people are definitely still interested, so I don't think that's the issue. I think it's again like the censorship aspect of like.
Yeah.
I think as people get more comfortable and listen to the podcast, they're going to ask deeper questions, and then.
There were already some pretty deep questions on there.
So I think like
what are your spiritual views on sex?
But like I think we as hosts then have to weigh like, do we feel comfortable answering these questions? Because people are genuine. Like, I mean, although some may be jokes, a lot of people are genuinely looking for advice. So then you have to think about, okay, well, if we're opening ourselves to be giving advice, then like we can't be like picking a very like small percentage. Of questions to be answering.
That's fair, yeah. Those things to consider there.
Yeah, if somebody went through all the stuff that we recorded on this podcast, I think we'd all be canceled, but no one's going to
That's why we just keep recording episodes so that no one just like gets stuck on the last episode where we just say so many things.
I don't think you should be scared about it because a lot of other people are recording crazy things and are super famous and nothing happens to them. So I don't think it's necessarily that, but it definitely played on my mind a little bit. I think also the topics that we like the questions that we answer, I think lend themselves easily to running yourself into like a problematic situation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you guys ever find yourselves like just putting on an old episode just to listen to it, or you guys hate listening to your voice?
I hate listening to my voice. I edited them. I would edit them, listen to them one time through, and then post them and not listen because I really don't like listening to my voice. But I think my sister's the opposite, where like she likes to.
That makes me sound extremely self-indulgent. I think here's the thing. I used to do college radio, so we used to have to like listen to our voice a lot. So I definitely got very like desensitized to it. But I think sometimes I would just listen back to hear like what were the questions that we like talked about, or like something would have come up and I was like, oh, I like forgot what we like answered, and then I'll like listen it more for like my mental like sanity of like, oh, I forgot like how we answered that question.
Yeah.
But I don't think I like listen to it for fun. It's more like if I think about something and then I put it on. With that being said, I feel like our last episode, we got a little bit more loose and we were like answering a few more questions that were like not as safe, I think, as the first few episodes. So that episode is always really funny to listen to because I feel like you can sense our hesitancy as Kunal started reading out questions. And I was like, oh, now I'm going to read out questions. And then he'll like be pausing and like thinking about what to answer on that particular episode. But there was like a lot of interesting, I think, topics and discussions that came out that I think we also didn't know like how each one of us thought about it until it came up in the episode and then we talked about it.
Right.
Because that was the other thing is like none of it is scripted. we never chose the questions beforehand, so that was another fun part.
It was like a live
of the
reaction
episode.
kind of.
It was the live reaction.
That's good.
Everything
Yeah,
was
it's like
live
more
and
more genuine.
Yeah, that's fair. Whenever I listen to my voice, I feel like a frat boy. Like I don't like how I sound recorded. When I listen back to it, I'm like, ew.
I was like that too.
I'm such an American boy on the.
I was like that
Time
too
to
at the
go
beginning,
abroad.
but then I feel kind of just like Naomi said, just got like desensitized because like maybe we put out so many episodes now. Like when I listen back, I kind of just like it's just like normal hearing my voice back. But like the first few times, I was like, why the hell would anyone want to listen to me? I sound like shit, and I probably still do. But I mean, whatever. Harsha, how do you
I think
feel
you've
about it?
improved all the time.
Or
Yeah.
how do I feel about you sounding shit or not?
No, but listening to your voice. Back to our
Yeah,
episode.
I still can't listen to myself. I don't like it. I cringe every time. But you know, Haran's soothing voice balances it out. So I still listen here and there.
Haran's soothing voice.
But you never heard that one before, right?
No, definitely not. That's funny. No, but you guys have carried some pretty insane momentum. Like 120 something episodes, right? That's crazy.
Yeah, this one's gonna be 129, and I mean, like for me and like I guess for Haran, it's not that much work to do this podcast for us.
Yeah, it's mainly on Christian, or yeah, he does all the editing for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, all we got to do is just hold a conversation, which is not that bad. I'll just say
Not that bad.
not that bad. Yeah. Actually, but I honestly like enjoy at this point, like just like recording the podcast is just fun. At least when I was in California, because like if like, we weren't talking that much in the group chat, then we'll just have like a lively conversation on the podcast every week with like the four of us, and it was just like nice to catch
Right.
up. And then like the other, I think the biggest thing was just like we just like reach out to like people that we haven't talked to in a long time in college or like in high school sometimes,
Mhm.
and just like talking to them, like even though like I haven't spoken to them in like years, it's just like it's interesting, like an interesting experience, and especially like meeting new people that we never like met before on the podcast. Like I guess I know you two, but like Harsh hasn't met you guys before, so like just like forging
Right.
those connections is kind of fun.
Yeah, me and Harsha haven't really met before. It's
This
true.
is our bonding experience now. You come to New York.
Yeah.
Well, I actually thought Harsha was moving to New York, but then I realized that he's not moving for his job. He's staying in Virginia.
He's living
Yeah.
his best life out there.
Yeah, you should try it out sometimes.
So much good advice coming.
Or you want to talk about the next topic?
Look, somebody wrote. Sorry, just to bring up one more question from this. thing.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote most regrettable one night stand with details.
Oh god.
And I also know who that was. It was the same person. It was the same person who wrote about what's your spiritual view on sex.
Yeah, but like
Man, they were just firing out these questions, bro.
it's not even that bad of a question. But am I really going to record myself answering that question and then post it online for everybody?
I don't know. Are you?
I don't.
They were shooting their
Absolutely
shot.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
All right, so the next, this one, Haran.
Yeah, I don't really know how we're going to transition into
You know, relationships have a lot of things, positive things, but also sometimes negative, like breaking hearts. But also, speaking of
He
that,
thinks into the distance.
speaking of injuries like that, Kunal, you recently got an injury, right?
A broken heart or something else.
I had no idea where you were going with that. But yeah, I guess I broke my shoulder, which is related to that. I about 6 weeks ago now, I was playing rec soccer in New York, and I just basically went into a 50-50 with this larger man. And he basically floored me. I like fell straight on my back, and I thought it was fine. So I played for a couple more minutes, and then I realized that my arm was getting super stiff, and then I walked off the field. Then I iced it for a few days, and then slowly I was just losing like mobility in my arm, I guess. And then eventually I couldn't move it at all. So then that happened on like a Sunday. Then on a Wednesday, I went to, I guess, just like a physician. And I was like, hey, I can't really move my arm. And he was like, why didn't you go to the ER on Sunday? And I was like, well, I thought there was no issue here. And then I got an x-ray, and I have basically like a fractured scapula. Then I got a CT scan, and all this stuff. So basically, I have a fractured scapula, but I didn't have to have surgery. And then I wore a sling for like 5 weeks, and I just got it off a couple weeks ago. And now I go to physical therapy twice a week. So it was pretty shitty.
How long do you have to do physical therapy for?
Physical therapy is, I think, 6 weeks to 2 months.
So I heard a root canal, so I don't know if this is true or not, but so I don't have Be Real, so some people may know, but Canal recently got the app, and my friend Christian, the person on the podcast, Christian, also has the app, and he's friends with Canal, and he said that he thinks that you were playing soccer this past weekend.
I also saw that.
I may have
care to comment.
I may have put my foot on a ball a couple times. Yes.
Yeah. I just want to be known that 3 weeks ago, Kunal was saying that he's done with the sport. He's never returning.
I also heard this.
Well,
he was like, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
I'm technically not supposed to play contact sports until like November, December.
Mm-hmm.
But we were just passing. We were passing the ball around. We were just passing the ball around. It wasn't like we were playing a game.
Okay.
Well, also, do those friends play soccer?
Yeah, I was with two of my roommates who literally never play. So
that's what I thought too. So that's why I was also not worried. I was like, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Christian told me, and I was like, it's a Sunday. Is it a rec league? Call playing again? What the hell's going on?
No, that would be so bad. I can't do anything like that.
Yeah,
I can't.
Well, Haran, you were there for his last shoulder sort of injury.
That's true. Yeah, I was there.
Haran was like, not again.
Yeah, the collarbone one was kind of scary.
Yeah, I broke the same shoulder 6 years ago, or I broke the collarbone, I guess. But
in high school, right?
Yeah,
that was in high school. But that was completely separate, and I should have done PT that time, but I didn't because I was a senior in high school, and I was like, oh, I have better things to do than to look after my body. But now, at the old age of 24, you can't do things like that. Yeah, like yesterday was my first physical therapy.
Mm-hmm.
My entire shoulder and arm is just insanely tight, because it's just been sitting in one place for a while.
Mm.
And she put her elbow into my shoulder and just kind of went around for a while, and my entire life changed. It was unbelievable. I have so much mobility compared to 24 hours ago right now.
That's pretty cool.
And now I do a few stretches every day. Things are really on the up and up, but August I was down horrendous.
Congratulations on your mobility.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
He was doing a one-arm Dougie the last time he was with Haran.
Yeah, that is true. Kanal came out every night. I feel like you were still moving about,
Yeah, my right hand was basically the cup holder.
Yeah.
The left arm was the dancing arm. It's hard. It's hard to dance. It's hard to go out with one arm.
Yeah, I would imagine.
It's like you slip once and it's all over.
Yeah, how's she gonna test? How's she gonna test to this actually? How do you want to speak about your recent, or not? I guess recent, but not that recent anymore injury.
I've had ongoing shoulder problems for a long time, since high school. So I would just dislocate a bunch, and then I never really did anything for it because it would always go back in, and then then one time it didn't. And I did PT for it before, and then the doctor was like, get surgery. I was like, nah, I'm fine. And then it got hurt just outside my house. I didn't go back in, so they had to put it back. This was last May. Then I got surgery for it. I tore my labrum, my shoulder, and that was in July. Yeah, so it was 2 months where I was sleeping in a sling, just making sure it doesn't fall out. I didn't want to get surgery. I didn't want to get surgery before I proposed. So because of the pictures, I didn't want to wear a sling in the picture. So I had to wait 2 months and then get surgery. Then I did also PT. PT was great after the surgery. Yeah. But I was
so what was the surgery that they did?
They fixed my labrum. They used some strings and tied it back to where it was supposed to go. It tore.
Wow.
Yeah, so the surgery was in July. Then I was in PT up until March. It's 8 months.
Wow.
So this whole thing was 10 months before I got back to doing normal shit. But yeah.
That's crazy. That's brutal. Yeah, my friend fell. I don't know if I told this last time on the podcast. I forgot.
No, you weren't. That happened after. Yeah.
Oh my
no,
god.
no. Yeah, my friend dislocated and broke his shoulder in Zion National Park in a hike, and it was out for like 7 hours or something because we like were literally in the middle of nowhere with no cell phone service, and it was like pitch dark outside, and it was really bad.
How long was yours out for, Harsha?
Like maybe 2 or 3 hours.
Okay, down.
They work really slow. I didn't even go
Yeah.
anywhere. I was at my house, and they like took me to the ER and like did a bunch of tests before they did it. It was so stupid. They're like, they wanted to take an X-ray. I was like, clearly there's something wrong. You don't need an X-ray. Just put it back.
Yeah.
And then like it was weird because they needed to like position my arm to like for the X-ray, so they would just move it. Every time they would move it, I could
Yeah.
feel the
Oh
friction
my
of like
God.
where it's out and where it's not. Yeah, it was terrible.
God.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing happened to him. Like when we came back from Zion to New York, he had a massive surgery where they like basically the same thing was happening where it was getting dislocated too often now. And so what had happened was part of his shoulder joint that keeps it in place had like broken off. So they cut off his collarbone and screwed it into his shoulder joint to like keep everything in place.
Holy
and then
shit.
he also had like physical therapy for like 9 months, and he was in this bionic arm for like 3 months, just locked in place. He like when he turned, his entire body would turn. Like he couldn't turn his neck without turning anything. It was kind of funny, but it was actually really sad.
Ridiculous.
There's actually a video I took of him and their other friend at a party at Canals, and he was like dancing with her, I think he was like, I can do salsa. And then he turns, and I just like the video ends in him wincing, and I was like, oh no, are you okay?
Oh no.
And he was like, yeah, I'm fine. At your housewarming.
Uh-oh. Yeah. I don't remember that video. I'd like to see that.
I think you were somewhere else. You were like not near us.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh, you're talking about... Oh, I see.
I think he did share this on the podcast last time, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, because it sounds a little familiar. But yeah.
He talked about
Just-
it during the no. It sounds familiar because we were doing our draft in August or before the season started last year, and Kunal had just come back.
And he was
And like Kunal, yeah, you're just telling it this whole life story, not life story, but like, the whole injury, which was it was a crazy story. But like, I was trying to focus on like my 3rd round pick, and maybe that's why I fucked up my draft last year.
And you still lost, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, nothing will help you at this point.
You suck my
I can't even laugh.
Yeah. Have you? Oh yeah, you've won the fantasy football.
I won once. I have some pride. I think there are a couple people that have been in the league since we started back in junior year of high school that haven't won. One of them being a friend of the podcast, Karkar, or should I say Abhi, But we'll call him Karkar.
Abhi.
Abhi.
I can't believe people call him that and not Karkar.
I think it's literally just at work at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm gonna start calling him Truck again.
The bad news though is one of my family friends that works at Cap One. Like I've told him that his name's Karkar. So like now, and he said he saw a Karkar recently at the office. So I feel like now he's gonna start spreading Karkar in the office. So there's no way Karkar gets away with Abhi anymore. So
You planted the seed.
I planted the
You've actually
seed.
Wow.
You've infiltrated the workplace.
That's wild.
I actually thought that like once he got to college that they would start calling him by like his first name, but even because like I wasn't there, I wasn't there to like uphold it. But I guess Karkar just stuck.
Yeah. With the will, there's a way.
Exactly.
God knows that you were sending some feelers over there, some intel. Let that man live.
Yeah, we'll let that man live. Yeah. Before we end the episode, it's I guess kind of delayed, but end of summer, so it's fall season. But with summer comes summer travels and summer trips. Most recently,
Isn't today the fall autumn solstice equinox?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah, but I guess this episode's going to come out in a couple weeks
Next
time.
week,
So
on Monday.
yeah, next week.
Happy fall.
It's all ruined then.
It's fine. But you guys recently went on a trip to Italy. You guys want to talk about that? I guess Kunal can go first if he wants, because he spent some a little more alone time.
Yeah, so we flew together to Milan, and then my sister went to the bachelorette kind of lead up to the wedding, and I spent 3 days in Milan alone, sightseeing and
Alone.
Why are you saying
And
alone like
swing.
that?
the first time I had been alone outside of the country, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot, actually. I was just like able to do whatever I wanted to. I went to San Siro, which is like the football stadium there. I ate a ton of pasta.
Why'd you say it like that? Pasta.
Because I ate an entire lasagna before I went to San Siro.
Wait, what?
The story's
Just
pretty
this-
good.
Just this fat lasagna at noon in Milan, and then I was like, I'm gonna
As
go
one
do
does.
this. I'm gonna do the stadium tour. So I like took a Uber or whatever, a cab to the
Yeah.
stadium, and I was like seeing the Champions League trophies. I was going through the museum, and I was like, "There's a bit of a rumbling in my tummy. Maybe I had too much lactose over the last 3 days." I proceeded to hurl in San Siro bathroom.
Oh shit! Wait, what? You tell me this. That's wild.
And then I went and sat in the Milan locker room like nothing had ever happened. And then I walked out onto
He was
the
just
pitch.
emotionally overwhelmed.
I walked around the pitch pretty lightheaded, and then I was like, "Does anybody have a bag of Lay's and a ginger ale?"
Wait.
Then I went to the concessions and kind of refueled.
I'm dead.
Ready to go.
I have a question. So because I guess people won't know, but San Siro hosts two teams, Inter Milan and AC Milan. So like, there's the changing rooms. Do they have like separate ones for those two teams? Or do they both just share it?
Yeah,
all? Okay.
they have two separate runs.
So they have
AC
two of those,
Milan.
and then they also have the away room as well. Then, so like they have two
Yeah,
home rooms.
actually,
yeah.
I actually didn't go to the away.
I mean, they don't show it because usually it's like worse, right? Like they always, yeah.
But the Inter Milan one was so clearly not as nice as the
as AC Milan,
one.
yeah.
Which is so screwed up because the doors for both of them are like within 5 feet from each other. So like, I'm definitely the Inter Milan people have walked into the AC Milan like locker room
Yeah,
and been like, "What
What
the
the
hell is this? This is
Yeah.
so much better." It's just nicer than the AC one, but I think AC Milan maybe has a bigger following. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure.
I mean, I think they have
And
more.
good
They have more
owners.
history and stuff. But would you
Yeah.
say Harsha?
Good owners.
He's only
I
saying
mean-
that because LeBron recently invested into AC Milan.
All right, let's all simmer down. LeBron also invested in Liverpool.
Yeah,
which is-
that's why Harsha's a big fan, bro. We're glad
Oh,
to
you're a
have
big
him
fan
on.
of Liverpool?
Yeah, huge.
Okay, let's end this
Huge.
podcast.
I gotta go.
No, so then after Milan, so I did a bunch of sightseeing in Milan, and that was pretty good. And then I met up with my sister in Lake Como, and it was actually a really low key, scenic wedding. I had a good time.
Wait, what did you say? Cuomo?
Yeah,
Lake Como.
Oh, Lake. Yeah, I had to think like Andrew Cuomo or something.
I wouldn't say. I mean, I think it was more low key than a regular Indian wedding, but it was high key fun.
No, it was
Like-
it was you know, it was just like relaxing vibes because we
Yeah,
were on the
yeah.
lake.
Yeah,
And
it
we
was
were
a
on
really
the lake.
nice, just beautiful, unreal view.
I think those are kind of like
My-
unique experiences to have, especially like with our backgrounds and stuff. Like to have a wedding there.
Yeah. So my friend, or our friend, she is one of our family friends. She married an Italian guy who we love. He's the best. They met at NYU, and so she's Indian. He's full Italian. Like he came here just for school. So they had a wedding in Italy, and now they're also gonna have like a regular Indian wedding in Virginia.
Oh,
But they technically were already like they got court married during COVID, so this was more just for
a
fun.
postponed celebration kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she didn't have bridesmaids, but she really wanted to do a bachelorette. And since this is not cutting shy, I'll give you full deets about what happened.
No shit.
But essentially, we were given a form, a couple months before the bachelorette happened, and it was asking what we were all comfortable with. So it had like private chef at the Airbnb doing, a boat ride. I was like, come on, who wouldn't love that? And then it said, get a stripper to the Airbnb. And in parentheses, it says the friend who's the bride really wants this.
it's like you gotta make sure.
And then like part D was, I think, like a beach day or something.
Okay.
And I was looking at this form, and I had only attended one bachelorette before this, and I was like, checked all four. I was like, let's go. Like, who knows what's gonna happen? We'll see. And then, to be honest, there was kind of radio silence up until the Bachelorette, so I really didn't know what I was getting into.
Wait, so was the bride planning this then, or
no? It was her two friends.
Okay.
One of which also went to TJ, so I also had this like stereotypic idea that it's gonna be tame. Like TJ kids are chill. Nothing wild is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Things were a little wild. So, so overall, like we end up at this incredible Airbnb. We're overlooking the lake, just like as picturesque as you can imagine, being at Lake Como. And the first day was like pretty chill. We had our private chef like cook us a 5-course meal, and he was like, as Americans, you like can't do this with your olive oil, blah blah blah. And we're like, oh, okay. And so we're like having a great time. And then the next day we did our boat ride. So they got this amazing boat. We're like going around Lake Como. They're showing us like Richard Branson's house and like one of the villas that they shot one of the James Bond movies in, and like another Star Wars movie was filmed there. So like a lot of cool history on the lake. And then we all went to dinner, and we were basically in a very tiny part of this town that was near on Lake Como, because Lake Como's, of course, ginormous. And there were no sidewalks. So we were basically walking through the street trying to get to this dinner, and it starts pouring, and we're trying to get back. It's pitch black. There are no street lights, and people are just zooming as if they're on like 495. Like they were going 60 to 80 miles an hour, like around the corners, like just, I think, assuming that no one was walking. So we're like, we have to figure out how to get home, because we also really can't call a cab. There's no Uber in the town that we're in. We go on this river walk, which was really a lake walk, which was really a complete dark walk that was all brick around the lake. We miraculously get back to the Airbnb, where there were 12 of us and 4 keys, and no one took a key. So now we're locked out of the Airbnb, and it starts pouring. And God. The bride-to-be is feeling herself, having the best time. She's like, why are you guys worried? Like, we'll find a key. And we're all standing out in the rain, kind of freaking out. We're like, oh, what's going to happen? And then we find out from the 2 coordinators that they've also hired a stripper to come to the Airbnb, but now we can't get in. So they're like, is he going to just have a show outside? Like, we're not allowed to have parties.
Dude, that would be an insane setup where, like, everyone forgot a key, and then, like, the strippers were, like, the ones that, like, or, like, it was supposed to be, like, a disguise, like, a locksmith, and then he opens the door and just takes off.
Yeah, he's like, actually, I have the key. And we're completely surrounded by villas, too. So we were just like, cool. This is going to be an interesting experience. By, I think finally we caved. We called the Airbnb host. She's like, you guys are a bunch of idiots. All you brown girls didn't bring a key. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
She let us in. We all go in. Drinks are pouring. And all the lights were off. We also didn't have a speaker because just no one brought a speaker on this trip. We had this one really tiny portable speaker that was dying. We didn't have an adapter for it. And then the stripper shows up with his handler. And he, like, sends us a YouTube link. And he's like, play this. And we're like, cool. The speaker's dead.
Oh, no.
So when he started, there's no music playing. And the host told us to switch off all the lights because we're not allowed to have parties in the Airbnb. And again, we're on a hill. So everyone who's in the other villas can see everything that's happening in this glass house. So I think he was probably shocked. He probably walked in and was like, why are there like 14 girls all in black? All clearly not Italian, standing around waiting for me, and all the lights were off.
Yeah.
Why did he have a handler?
Because he said that there has to be someone to make sure that we didn't do anything inappropriate. But then the best part, we were like, oh, like, how did you guys get into this business? And his handler's like, we've been best friends since preschool. And we're like, totally normal.
Respect.
And I decided to make my best friend into a stripper. And I wanted to be his bodyguard forever.
But yeah, by some miracle, we like got the speaker to work. I remember it died in between again, and he was like, music, please. And we're like, we're shuffling. We're like, does anyone have a USB cord? And then, yeah, the rest of the night was history.
How long was the performance?
It's a blur. The first half was him doing like the show, and then the second half was he was supposed to like pretend to be a bartender, but we had run out of glasses, and there were just bottles of Prosecco, so he turned into a complete bottle girl and was pouring Prosecco down everyone's mouth like it was Senator Frog. So
Damn.
it was a great time. It was also really funny because the bride-to-be thought that none of them spoke English, so she was trying to speak to them in broken Italian, and then we went up to the handler and we're like, do you need water? And he was like, yeah, I would love water. And we're like, oh, you speak English. But yeah, 10 out of 10 experience. She also hired a mixologist last day that was like the bride's kind of gift to us. And that was really cool because each drink that the mixologist designed had to do with a girl that was at the batch. So there was a drink called like Naomi, and it had like all these ingredients based on what she had told the mixologist.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So that was a little fun thing that she did. And then we were all, trying everyone's drinks. And we're like, oh, we really like this girl's drink. And oh, this girl's drink is trash.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was a good time. And then, of course, the wedding was incredible. We were on a boat. This Indian uncle was trying to sabotage the DJ and only play Punjabi tunes. Fire experience.
Solid.
Kunal also got the best pizza of his life, apparently, by holding up the bus to take us back to the hotel.
You held up the bus?
Well, I really was hungry. So, somebody needed to go to the bathroom. I wanted a pizza, and I knew that near our resort, it's not like New York where you could just walk down to the nearest bodega that's open 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I needed some drunk food.
Some grub.
Yeah, I didn't really eat any dinner, so I was like, okay, while these people are in the bathroom, I'm gonna ask for
the restaurant.
Yeah, of the restaurant, and we're waiting for the bus to take us back to the resort. I'm gonna get like the simplest pizza ever, and it's gonna take like 1 minute. And obviously, it's not gonna take 1 minute because they're like
slap some cheese on that bread.
Yeah.
And then it had been like 3 minutes, and the bus arrived and was gonna.
The last bus.
Oh
there
shit!
Were three like shuttles.
The girl came out of the bathroom, and I was like, "Can I get that pizza?" And they were like, "You asked us like 20 seconds ago." And I was like, I have to go now. And then they gave it to me, and it was an unbelievable pizza just on the side of the road in Italy. I mean, I guess that's
to be expected. Damn.
Well, it was really funny because we kept being like, oh, there's someone in the bathroom. There's someone in the bathroom. Then Kunal runs out. Like, the bus was here. He runs out of the restaurant with pizza in hand, gets on the bus. And, of course, everyone's drunk and hungry. And they're like, where did you get this pizza? And he's like, I don't know any of you.
Fuck off.
He's just, like, sitting. And then I remember people were asking for the pizza. So as soon as we got to the hotel, I was like, how about we eat the pizza upstairs, then we come back down for the after party?
Yeah, everyone was like, I want a slice of that. And there was just like 40 people, and I was
You're like, get your grubby hands on your pizza.
Calm down.
Nice. I mean, Kunal, you've been to Italy twice now in the last couple of months. It's wild.
Yeah, I went to Italy in May. I did the southern parts. I did Florence, Rome, Amalfi Coast, that kind of area, which was really fun.
Where's Turin? Is that middle? Or
I think that's northwest.
Northwest, yeah.
So we were kind of northeast-ish. Someone's gonna fact check this and be like, "This guy doesn't know what the fuck."
No, Lake Como is north.
Yeah, but
I think Turin is also the north. I'm pretty sure. I think that sounds right.
I want to say it's northwest.
We were in Lecco.
Yeah, Lecco's one of the towns on Lake Como. The Florence, Rome, Amalfi is southwest-ish. And my Google Maps isn't loading because my Wi-Fi is shitty. Oh yeah, it is northeast or northwest. I was right.
Nice.
Come on.
You knew it the whole time. You're trying to gas yourself up. Chill out, bro. You're not that guy.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Which part of Italy did you like the best? I feel like you've seen a lot of Italy. So which part was the best?
Lake Como was really, really nice. And we went to an island called Capri that's off of Amalfi Coast. I think that was... I mean, Amalfi Coast in general is unbelievable. But
Yeah, the photos are
probably the
insane,
best
man.
part.
Crazy.
It's like if you ever played Wii Sports Resort,
Mhm.
Lake Capri is that island. It literally is that island. And you go around it, and there's so many things to do there. You can take the chairlift up to the top of the island and walk down. There's a soccer field there. There's a bunch of things to do there. And they have a city center where they have all the good gelato and paninis, and
Mm-hmm.
that was definitely. And we were only there for 24 hours, but we did a boat ride around the island, which was one of the top 10 experiences of my abroad experiences of my life. Top 5, maybe. It was really relaxing and fun. But I think I'm done with Italy for a while.
Yeah, fair.
Now that I've done it twice in one summer.
We also did India this summer, which was
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that too.
Yeah.
I think going to India this time, I mean, obviously we went for like a very different reason than we usually go because our grandfather had passed last year, so we had to go for a religious ceremony and also wanted to see our family. Like,
Right.
we had been meaning to go since pre-COVID, but I think this was the first time when we had gone and Kunal and I actually ventured out a lot on our own. So now we have a couple of friends who live in Bombay, and I like to joke that Bombay is basically New York on drugs. Like, just the energy and like the craziness. Like, there's always something going on in Bombay, and it's a very cosmopolitan city too. So I feel like I had a lot more fun this trip, even though it was like a very somber reason to be there. But I think like Kunal and I navigating a lot of Bombay like on our own was a lot of fun, and just like exploring. We had never been to Bandra before, so like being able to explore Bandra and like seeing a lot of the different areas of South Bombay that we hadn't seen before, and also like seeing a lot of family too after so long. Both of our cousins are much older now too. Like, our younger cousin's now 15, which is crazy. He still like was playing with Kunal and stuff while I was getting clothes fitted. And like seeing our other cousin who's now in college and just like hearing his stories, and he was driving us around too, which I like never imagined.
Yeah.
And he was like playing the weekend, and we're like, oh shit, like this is our man. Like, you're all grown up now.
Yeah, it was a different experience. India's
It was
always
also the
so,
monsoon.
yeah.
The monsoon
raining a
experience
lot.
was wild. So I go to the gym in the morning, so Kunal was like, oh, when we go, like, we're going to be eating so much, so, like, we should go to the gym. And every morning, so I'm, like, very averse to, like, not having an umbrella, so I was like, I brought my umbrella from New York, and every morning we would, like, be running from, like, where we were staying to the gym with one umbrella, and usually, like, a minute in, Kunal's like, I'm just gonna run. And he would just, like, run through the rain, and I'm, like, going through, and they were very strict, like, you couldn't wear your monsoon shoes at the gym. So we made the mistake the first day, and they're like, can't
They're
do
like,
this
did you
tomorrow.
not? They were like, did you not bring different shoes? And I was like,
They're like, oops. And then you
I
put
was
your
like-
feet in this thing, and it would basically be like a car wash for your feet. Like, it had little brushes. It was like,
Oh, what the hell?
yeah, it was crazy.
and they're like, yeah, tomorrow please bring your inside shoes. And we're like,
Yeah, they were like, bring different shoes for the gym. Don't disrespect this place. And I was like,
and then they would be like, do you need a spotter? And I was like, where am I?
I know. There was also so much staff there, and I was benching, and they were like, "Do you want me to spot?" And I was like,
Oh shit,
sure.
that's like a very
I was
different
like-
experience. I feel like.
That's great for me."
Yeah.
I was like, "If you want to, sure."
If you want to get real close, yeah.
Okay, if you say so. I don't know what you're doing at the gym, but
I don't even know
Sounds
the
pretty
gym, so I don't even
different
want to speak. Oh yeah, so real quick before we end off the episode, I guess looking forward to maybe if you want to travel now, but I guess next summer, where's like the next city you want to go explore?
so I'm going to Kenya for 2 weeks at the end of February, beginning of March. For
That's pretty cool, yeah.
One of my friends' wedding, and then we're like doing a safari afterwards. So
That's awesome.
I've never been to. I don't think I've ever been to anywhere in Africa.
Mhm.
So that's going to be fun. And then I don't know. I'm hoping our family will do a trip somewhere in Europe again, but there's so much planning necessary. I want to go to Greece at some point because everybody's been going to Greece and it looks fun.
Yeah, you definitely got to go to
Also-
Santorini, bro. It's so nice.
Yeah, I've heard it's crowded, but I feel like it's one of the places I want to go.
Yeah, I think we went a long time ago, but in the summer, yeah, it's pretty crowded, I would say.
Yeah,
I would say my top 3, I really want to do, I think like 99% sure, Haran, you guys did this, the whole like tour of South India that you guys did a couple
Yeah.
years ago. I really, really want to do that. I think that would be a really fun experience. And then I would say second, I had a lot of friends go to Portugal, and they said that was a really fun country to visit. And there's also like a lot of places that you can visit that are not so touristy, and they're like pretty welcoming. So that's pretty high on my list as well. And then last is Spain. So I've never been to Spain. I think Kunal went right? To visit your
Yeah, I
friend.
went to Madrid and somewhere else that I forget now for like a day trip, but mostly Madrid. I would go back to Spain. I want to go to Portugal too, so I would do that.
Actually, I have 4 because Colombia is also very high on my list.
Yeah.
One of my friends is Colombian, another friend at work is also Colombian, and they're always like sending me these tourist videos of like the best places to go in Colombia, and I'm like, are you taking me?
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you keep sending me these videos, but where's my ticket? But funnily enough, every time for Spanish class in TJ and in middle school, my like country project in Spanish class was always on Colombia. So I know all this random history, but I've just never had the chance to go. But I feel like it would be fun.
Maybe we should go there.
Go to Medellin.
I'll manifest.
Go to Medellin.
Gotta
I'll
find.
be down.
Go to the birthplace of the goat.
The goat.
I just have to really back calling him the goat.
Yeah.
Good show.
I think you should be careful calling him the goat.
Yeah, I really should.
Yeah.
Good show. Goat show. I'd say. Harsh, how about you? Are there any places top of your list?
Nothing that comes to mind. After we go to Cabo, I think the next trip that I'll do is like my honeymoon. So I don't know where I'm gonna go. So I haven't thought about that, but we have to think. Either it depends. Somewhere in Europe, maybe. I've never been anywhere, honestly. I've been to India, Canada, Mexico. That's about it. Dubai once. So like I haven't seen like any of Europe and like not much of like Asia, specifically like it's like Southeast Asia. Like I think like Thailand and that area is cool. I've seen TikToks of people in the Maldives. It looks cool, but they're just surrounded by water. I don't know what else you do, but it looks cool. So we'll see.
Would you want people to choose like the wedding that we just went to? They like are having a fund, so like depending on whichever place people like put the most money in, that's the place they're gonna go. So they picked like 4 different places.
Oh,
like,
that's
would you want
interesting.
it like that, or would you want to like pick with your fiance and then just go to like wherever you guys choose?
Yeah, I think I want to pick. I would appreciate the fun though.
The fun. Yeah, we can start a GoFundMe.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, after this episode.
How about you, Haran?
Where do you want to go, Haran?
Dude, I don't know, man. I think like in terms of Europe, I've seen England and Greece and Scotland. Just kind of like a random. I mean, I guess England and Scotland makes sense, but Greece is a little just like out there from there. But I definitely want to go see France, Spain, Italy. I don't know which first out of those 3. Maybe at least like 2 of the 3 in one trip. Maybe. Outside of Europe, I would like to go back to Thailand because we spent like a couple days in Phuket at like this resort. But I also got food poisoning there, so I feel like my experience wasn't.
The time was cut short.
Yeah, it was cut short. And it was so fun, but like I feel like there's a lot of Thailand that I still yet to explore. And I'd like to go back to Australia actually, like really badly, because I have cousins there, and I last went in 2005. And we only really spent time in Sydney, so I'd like to go see Melbourne and stuff.
I swear you have cousins everywhere.
Yeah, my family's pretty spread out.
Cousins in England.
I have cousins in England. I have cousins in
Malaysia.
I have cousins in Malaysia. I have cousin in Finland. I have and a cousin in New Zealand and Australia, Singapore.
And you're in Orange County.
I'll be in Orange County. Yeah. We'll be all over the place. But yeah, I don't know realistically what should be the first out of those trips, but I definitely want to go somewhere, at least one of those places next summer. But I got to figure out who I'd go with and stuff. But that's for
our
another
mutual
time.
friend Viraj and I have been joking for years that like we at first were like, oh, in 2025 we'll like plan a whole squad trip and go to a different country, but now we just keep pushing it out. So I saw him this weekend and he's like 2032.
2032? What the fuck?
I'm gonna be dead by
I'm gonna be like 34. Bro. I'm gonna be dead.
But I think it would be fun to do a squad trip somewhere.
No, I definitely would.
We just all have to be free at the same
time.
time.
Yeah, Archie, part of it. You're a +1.
Yeah. The entire pod is invited.
I don't know if my hair will make it to 2032, but I'll
What is happening? Why do people think they're not going to make it?
If you come on that trip, then we get to choose where you go to your honeymoon.
He's like, now I'm not coming.
And top of my list is Orange County.
Well, You can just stay at my place, man.
Pick
I'll make it really nice for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I see like rose petals on
you
the bed
imagine?
for me.
Yeah,
and
rose
Ron.
petals.
Haran's gonna make a swan out of his towel and place it on your bed. Picks one flower from outside. Perfect. I'm done.
Just the FIFA soundtrack playing in the background.
Iconic.
And then a sleeping bag for Umberto on the floor somewhere else in the corner. Me and Haran in the bed.
I'll be the personal chef for the whole weekend too. It'll be nice. Yeah.
Oh, that should be.
I'll be a
It's gonna
chef.
be
I'll be a
everything.
mixologist. I'll be a stripper if you want me to. If you want to
Yeah, I
go
was like, when is the stripper coming? I was like, you got the personal chef. I feel like I know
Haran's
where
a
this is
stripper
going.
and no bodyguard required.
No, I want to
He'll
be
bring
the
a
handler in
speaker
the
of
corner.
music.
I'll be the handler.
I'll be the
For a
handler in the corner. I'm gonna wear an all black suit and a headset.
They're gonna be like, how do you know Haran? You're like, oh, I've known him since middle school.
Yeah.
We're in a
Whoa,
lucrative
no
business.
touching.
No
touching.
touching. Have you seen Arrested Development?
I have.
You know the scene in the jail when like he's like as soon as he touches no touching. No touching.
That's so funny. That show's so good.
Oh, too good. I hope this episode was too good for everyone that stayed through to the end here. But yeah, thanks for the claps. We're really shitty at transitions. We're 130 episodes in, we still can't transition. But what are you gonna do? But yeah, we'd like to thank you two for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you.
We'll plug
Thanks for
Cutting
having
Chai
us.
again. But I guess individually, is there something you guys want to plug or promote on your end?
I'm gonna start a GoFundMe for my honeymoon in 2030. Love some donations for that.
All right, we'll drop a link in that in the description as well.
I don't have anything to plug. You can follow me on Instagram.
Yeah,
Or
we'll
no.
include you guys' Instagrams in the description.
You can follow me on Instagram as well.
And you can also follow us on Instagram at an interesting discussion, where we'll be putting up episode posts for these two. And you can also find their socials there. And yeah, you can check out this episode on Spotify, on Amazon Podcasts, on Apple Music, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, all the regular places.
Pinterest.
Yeah.
Hinge.
all the usual places. But that finishes the episode for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.